Shalom Rastafari, Assalamu Alaikum, peace to the kings and the queens and the earth. I want to give a big shout out to everybody. We got a new month, new beginning, and I hope everyone's getting a great start to the month and into the holiday season. Make sure you continue to stay healthy, stay on your herbs, get good rest, get that sun. And if you're not, if you're in the north or in the east coast somewhere, make sure you're properly hydrating, getting some vitamin D if you can, magnesium, things of that nature. And again, if you ever need any tips, please DM me or link me up. I'd be happy to help. Today I wanted to go off the coronation day that was yesterday, November 2nd, the coronation of the King Selassie and Empress Menen, and what that meant to me. I really didn't go into it yesterday because I had a couple other things that I posted up. So I wanted to make sure that when I do these talks, that I really do them for a reason. So I woke up today and just figured that I'd go into depth with it and really go into what the king and the queen mean to me as a Rastafari. And as Rastafari, there's always different beliefs as far as in this situation. This isn't really opinionated, right? There's facts here and there's what I believe. And the facts are the last real king and queen to be coronated in the Africa diaspora and in the Africa situation, the king and queen that gave us a king and queen to look up to, right? Some people look at the Queen of England and the king for whatever reason. But we have our own king and queen, and we had our own king and queen, Empress Menen and King Selassie I. And the coronation to me is important because he then became that form. He became that Selassie, entered into that second greatness of him. And I know a lot of people compare and want to see and want to go into it. Well, let me get to what I believe Empress Menen and King Selassie I, what their role is on this universe, what their role is on the earth. And give a shout out to my Rasai Adonis from Brooklyn, New York, who's always, his books I've read and his teachings I still follow every Sabbath. To this day, it's almost been about 7 years since I've been in this camp. But he always broke it down to the proper sense to me. And I think that this is the way you can look at it. And King Selassie I was Christ-like in his kingly character. Let me say that one more time. Christ-like in his kingly character. So there was this comparison to him to Jesus Christos, or Jesus Christ, the last person to walk the earth. There was big comparisons, which, by the way, he didn't even say that himself. So we can't go into this thing as far as Rastafari skipping over what he said himself or trying to manipulate what was said to make him higher than what he is. He was a person. He was a great man. He, to me, reminds me of the prophets that came through and some of the leaders that came through. To me, King Selassie I is on the level of Malcolm X, on a level of Marcus Garvey, on a level of any of our leaders. And as far as the spiritual way, he's on that level of like the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. He's just or Elijah Muhammad. He's just a different. And it is no coincidence that Elijah Muhammad and King Selassie I on the same exact day of the coronation, Elijah Muhammad was also starting the Nation of Islam. There was literally two huge events happening in the 30s that, to me, gave us the window in the generation, for this generation, and to really go forward with huge teachings. Think about that on two religious sides of the spectrum, but both can come together and know that there is only one God and one universe. So at the end of the day, his works speak for itself. He's the way he liberated Africa, the way things happened for him, the way he continued to grind, the way Empress Menen continued to open up hospitals, to go to areas. And she was a beast also. She played no games, just like a lioness, very quiet in the cut, but probably was the most strongest person in that unit. Sent warriors and attacks to protect the kingdom when it was trying to be compromised. Had no problem doing that at all. King Selassie I also had no problem getting back to that base, that Ethiopian base, rewriting the Bible in Amharic and going through the scrolls to get it translated so that Babylonian creeping coup of the Italian forces would not, eliminate it when they came down to do their bullshit, so to speak. So he basically has shown that king and queens of who is stronger as far as, a king that has been nationally known. Who is stronger than him, King Selassie I first. And he was a very small man. But what other man went in front of the United Nations and called them out, right? Predicted what was going to happen. They jeered and booed him, and next thing you know, the whole entire world's scared because they can't believe what was happening in Germany. Well, King Selassie I first was actually telling you that. He got to end because it was done to Ethiopia and it was done to Africa. Nobody cared. What was happening to Africa before the United Nations or any of these things were even made. King Selassie I was battling already, right? And trying to unify Africa. At that point, Africa was never as unified as it was back in those days. He was able to fly to areas and stop tribal wars. He was able to open up an airport in Ethiopia to bring it to the modern form, bring it to an area where people can now travel to Ethiopia on a plane and see what the country has to offer. He started that. And so you really can't really tell me anything wrong. Of course, and people have opinions and how toward the end of his life. I don't care about none of that. This man literally slept 4 hours a day, ate barely anything, and just dedicated his entire life to the liberation of black people and the uplifting of Ethiopia, and was a call and a centerpiece to the Rastafari faith. Him visiting Jamaica and telling them, like, look, keep doing what you're doing. I'm only a person, and really, then when he went to the States also, when he went to the States, he also had situations where he basically, was exalted. I mean, there's no coincidence, again, that he was the only black person at that John F. Kennedy funeral in the front row. Look it up right now, Google the information. He also told John F. Kennedy about the creeping coup that was coming. About a week later, John F. Kennedy was assassinated. So it's almost like he warned him. Like there's a secret society they're trying to take over. They're trying to take out anybody who wants to liberate or unify. Think about also with John F. Kennedy, how he welcomed King Selassie to America. He knew something was going on. He knew how special this person was. Having some students come over and start to get their American education. You're talking serious situations right here. And when has that ever happened? Since then, it has not. It's not even close. So going forward, I love every one of y'all. I love the Coronation Day. I think it should be a holiday for sure. And I appreciate y'all for listening. And if you have any opinions about these things, let me know. I just want to give some flowers to the King. Rastafari all day. Appreciate y'all for listening.